everyone. Welcome to the ILG tournament. Day 4, I believe. Game 3, I think. Now we got Team Wayne versus Vankwish Gaming. Both of these teams are very good. This is not their first time approaching on the scene here today. They have played here before. And Team Wayne, coming out with that Syndra ban. Purple team over on the Quirky ban. And, oh, I forgot. I got two special guests with me. So you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Zabardast, and with me is PowerX6. We are both members of Derail Gaming, and I'm looking forward to a good game today between two good teams.
And hello, and thanks Amir, and thanks to you too, Loki. So we see the Thresh ban from Wayne.
Indeed, we do get Thresh ban coming out from Team here. Astronaut being the captain, I guess, banning those champions out.
That's targeted at Disarray, whose main champ is Thresh. I think he's their captain as well. Support and captain.
I mean, when you have two really good teams like this playing off against each other, you don't see bans that you don't see bans like you don't see like solo queue type bans. Like each player, each team does its research. They do see what famous champs both teams play in solo queue as well as competitive, and they ban accordingly. So yeah.
And who do you think the Azir ban is targeted at? Azir is kind of hard to play and not easy to master at all. And if it is a targeted ban, I'd like to know who it is banned against.
And both teams probably have done their homework, so they should know what they're doing. I'm not sure who the mid laner for Vankwish is. We'll know soon enough.
Yeah, we'll probably know soon enough. So yeah, over on the purple team, we do get Quirky ban. I really don't know. Well, a Quirky ban must be for Synchro. He does play a lot of Lucian, although I've never seen him play Quirky, but it might be banned towards him. And we do also have a Jarvan ban, being banned for Versatile, as he did play Jarvan last game. And it's not that he played very bad, it's just that he couldn't really try, and every time he tried to make something happen, it just didn't go good. But in the team fights, even though that Team Wayne did have a did have a pretty bad team fighting comp, he did play very good. He did play a very mechanical Jarvan, cataclysming the Orianna and then flashing out, which was kind of a good, play by him. So
one thing that worked against them the previous game was that they were all AD, and there was a malfight on the opposite team, so it was really hard for them. And of course they had a wombo combo on Mystique, so it's not as easy to win team fights against them.
So they chose to pick their top laner instead of the support. So do we expect a swap here, or is Asinoth their top laner?
I think Froggy Baba is the top laner, so it's probably picking Maokai for him.
We also have the Lee Sin. You have the Lee Sin pick coming in for
not too popular in the new jungle, I'd say. He kind of loses because of the loss in early pressure in the new jungle. His early game dominance isn't as great as it used to be. So we see a gangplank as well. That's new.
I think he's probably trolling with that gangplank. I'd like to see him pick that. But yeah, as you were saying about the Lee Sin ban, I mean, this is patch 4.2.1, and Lee Sin isn't as strong as he used to be. Early game pressure has gone down tremendously, and I guess even Jarvan has probably overtaken Lee Sin. Zabardast?
Yeah, definitely. Jarvan is one of the best junglers for this patch right now. He's right up there with the top 5 junglers at least.
Indeed. And also, we do see a Gangplank pick being picked here. Spar, you made top lane. What's your thoughts on the Gangplank pick?
I don't top lane much these days, but yeah, I do know that Gangplank's ultimate was changed, so it's a lot more reliable these days. It isn't just random damage spoon over the area, so it's kind of consistent this time around. But I'm not too sure of his laning though. He kind of consumes a lot of mana. We'll have to look. We'll need to see who's picked against him. So a Pantheon as well. Okay, Pantheon has been, his jungle was so popular in 4.20 because of the way he could clear Dragon, but now that's been chopped off and his attack speed being lowered, I don't see why he's still being picked. But I may be whatever.
Okay, so yeah.
No, he
Uh,
can't take Dragon early anymore, but he's still a good jungler for this patch. They did nerf his base attack speed, and he still doesn't struggle in this jungle with his passive, which is always good, and he can apply a lot of early pressure, and he has a very strong early game with his damage. I think he's not a bad pick at all for this patch.
oh yeah, and we do see a Graves being picked up by Synchro. We have been seeing a lot of Graves and Lucian this event, mainly Graves. We did see one of your teammates, Sabot, going big on Graves in his last game against.
Ex-teammate, I'd like to correct that.
Oh yeah, my bad, ex teammate. But yeah, so we have seen a lot of Graves also being a lot dominant here. So I guess in patch 4.2, 4.1, Graves is a very strong carrier in 80. So yeah, also Kate, and also we do see a Caitlyn coming back. Caitlyn and solo lane. So what are your thoughts on that, Zabardust?
1 second.
Caitlyn could be considered kind of a counterpick to Graves because of the range she offers. She has close to 600, whereas Graves is stuck at 450. So the harass is kind of huge, and Graves needs to like go into Caitlyn's face to be able to do damage with his Q, and yeah, his quick draw does
Graves is
offer an
more of a
option.
bursty champion, I'd say.
Yeah. He kind of is good this pass because of the consistent damage and the build path the new Graves are taking, but I'm not too sure how he'd fare against Caitlyn. But I haven't seen a lot of Caitlyn play this season. Not this season, this patch, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, we Caitlyn used to come out big, back in the day, but now she lost her presence in a Cassidy being picked up for Tamid over there. So you know we
If
have
not for
seen
the previous Maokai pick, I'd say that's a Cassidy top, but no, that can't be so the case now, is it?
Yeah, so the Cassidy being picked up, and now Purple Team probably is gonna try and counter the Cassidy hard with a good 80 mid pick or something like that. I mean, we do have Stead open. We do have a Yasuo open that synergizes really well with Lee Sin. Or we just might see him pick a Talon, so not sure. So what are your thoughts on the Kassadin pick? I mean, we really haven't seen him in the split much. We do see him being played a lot competitive over in Korea, but just not in this tournament. I think we've seen a Kassadin. So your thoughts on Kassadin mid?
We've seen the rise of the AP Bruiser top laners in from patch 4.2 onwards. Lissandra top lane, Diana top lane, even one of Victor top lanes. We've also Kassadin top lane is something that should be following up, but yeah, it's being picked as a mid champion here. I'm not too sure how's that going to turn around against the Lissandra that too. We've seen the rise of the Ice Queen in the recent patches, but I don't know why we even attribute it to her rise because she has never been tweaked as such the recent few patches. Any thoughts on why she's becoming popular?
Not really sure. The I think she was actually Lissandra top was actually a solo queue type of pick we used to see. I think before season 4, I do believe. I do remember a lot of people used to play Lissandra top lane, and so I think I'm not really sure how it goes, but she does bring a lot of CC stun and a lot of mobility and utility to the team, and yeah, we do see Lissandra being played as a top lane and a mid laner, but in this case, we're basically going to be seeing a top lane meta champs being played in the mid lane, a Lissandra versus Kassadin. So, yeah, we'll see how this lane goes. So, one thing I'd like to point out, one thing I'd like to talk about over in this game is the bot lane. We do have a Graves and Morgana lane being played up against Caitlyn and Sona lane. So we have talked about how Graves could be played in accordance to the Caitlyn, but how do you think the supports? How do you think this lane would change if we take the supports into consideration here?
Well, as we know, Sona primarily kind of needs her ultimate to initiate after level 6. The same could be said for Morgana, but she is kind of a channel stun, so that could kind of be walked off, or Caitlyn could just yeah, E away from the ultimate of Morgana. And also, that being said, Caitlyn's Sona has always been the notorious poke combo. So we never know how it's gonna go because they have a sustained damage dealer and they have a poke kind of champion in Sona's queue. But if Sona maxes a heal, I think the burst combo of Graves Morgana would kind of fall behind if they do not pull off a few kills early.
So yeah, your thoughts. You're basically saying that they need to pull a. Yeah, we'll see how that lane goes up. Over in the top lane, we're gonna be seeing a Gangplank versus a Maokai lane. Now, I'm not really sure what the purple team was thinking in picking up the Gangplank because as you said earlier, he does waste a lot of mana in his spells, in his harass with his gun and stuff like that. And Maokai is just very tanky top lane. I mean, all you just need to do is sit there, probably farm your Rod of Ages, and then Frozen Heart, and then just keep going tank from there onward. So how do you think this top lane matchup is going to be played out?
I think it kind of depends on what the Gangplank is gonna build. We used to remember in back in season 3, I guess, no 2. There used to be 3 kinds of Gangplank builds that usually people take. It's the crit plank, the tank plank, and the bank plank, I'd say. So if he goes the crit plank, he could easily burst down the Maokai, and the Maokai won't be able to retaliate because of his lack of damage, I'd say. Not too sure how it's gonna turn out, but if he goes the tank plank, he'll sort of be an unkillable machine because Maokai already lacks a lot of damage at top lane unless he maybe rushes the Rod of Ages, and I'm not too sure how this is gonna turn out because I've never seen this matchup before.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, it's been a long time since I've seen a Gangplank being played. We have seen a Teemo top lane actually being played a few days ago, and that actually worked out very well for Devil's Playground against Nexus Destroyers. But yeah, I hope Amar is listening to this. I really hope Zabardast is listening to this. I really do. So yeah, right now we do see a Gangplank versus Maokai, and I really am
But
interested
yeah,
to
I
see
forgot
how.
to mention one point though. You have a Gangplank who can kind of remove the snare of Maokai, so I think he'll be setting that up. It should be an ungankable lane, I'd say, because you have the Pantheon stun to follow up the Maokai snare, but root. But I don't think that'll be possible if Gangplank just cleanses it off and walks away. So that is kind of a synergy that we would expect into the Maokai pick, I'd say. Let's see.
Yeah, so yeah, I forgot about that actually. Cancel out the snare from Maokai. But yeah, we'll see how this lane is going to be played out. It should be interesting. I'd like to see how Gangplank helps control or carry his team, as the Teemo did in the game we saw a few games ago. So yeah.
Actually,
But
I'd fancy a lane swap between the Gangplank and the Lysandra because
Okay, I'm back.
Gangplank mids used to be a thing back in the by the end of season 4, I'd say, and he kind of does counter Cassidon because he's an AD champion against a Cassidon. So we might potentially see a lane swap between Gangplank and Lysandra.
But he does have teleport, so I'm not sure they'd be looking at that.
they do.
That's what he
So,
does.
so Amar, while you were AFK, me and Spar were just talking about how Gangplank is being picked, and how it was similar for the Teemo being picked a few games ago, in which you thought wouldn't do anything, but that Teemo ended up carrying the game.
There was actually misplay on Pew Pew Laser's part.
That was just you being very
We-
one-sided, please.
We can never gauge the impact a Teemo would have because even if Teemo's team does lose, he ends up doing the maximum amount of damage because he's a friggin' yodel who just places shrooms all around the map and irritates you to nuts. So that's having that, we can never gauge the impact a Teemo could have because he's just a pain. That's it. He's just a pain in the air. That's it.
And as we load onto the Rift, we do have the game being paused.
What
I
time
really
are you
don't
on,
know.
Loki?
29:00, 28:59, 28:7.
Yeah, I'll let you know once it's resumed. Some bug.
What time are you on?
Shows 0-0.
Okay, but now we have the Gangplank reconnected, and
The game has been resumed. Or has it?
it hasn't, I believe.
Okay, I have the bug as well, and yeah, it doesn't seem to have
Okay,
the
so
resume,
this-
the pause overlay. So let's see how it goes.
I think bot
Uh,
lane Sona needs to be very careful because if a Morgana snare does land on her, she's going to get deleted. Graves does have a lot of burst, and along with Morgana, I mean that only adds to the burst. Sona is indeed very squishy, so we can see the blue side bot lane going aggressive, I suppose. While the purple side bot lane should try to use their range advantage and poke them down. While blue side will try for all-ins.
yeah, what time is your game on at the moment?
I'm at
I'm at
26,
25 seconds.
7, 28, 29.
Yeah.
30.
So I think we're on sync. That's cool.
Yeah, we're all on sync.
Lokesh? Is location sync?
I think he's AFK, I'm not sure, but over in the mid lane area, we do see Lee Sin getting spotted out by the ward from Pantheon, so I guess all the invades have been spotted out and nobody plans on going for an aggressive start here, I believe, so yeah.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Have the well, one thing I'd like to talk about is how do you think the mid lane matchup is gonna do? A Kassadin versus a Lissandra.
It should go pretty well for the Lissandra if she uses the range increase on her Q. That needs to be exploited well for her to gain a lane
I think
dominance
Lissandra
and-
should be quite good in this matchup because Kassadin isn't as strong pre-6, while Lissandra is ranged and has ranged spells to harass.
Yeah,
and after
and-
6, she once she gets her ultimate, I think she can lock down Kassadin for a very long time.
And Kassadin won't be able to like jump into her to deal damage because he could be just snared and stunned in succession.
Dude, so yeah, I was actually presuming that
Lee Sin
Vankwish
is
would
starting blue
probably
buff,
go-
so that is a bit surprising. And
yeah, well, Pantheon starts
Yep.
his new
and
updated
Lissandra,
version of the
okay,
golems.
she doesn't waste any XP.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to say is I'd like to see how I was presuming that Vankwish would start more of an AD mid laner to counter that early game of Kassadin, but I guess Lissandra kind of does as well as an AD mid laner in this matchup, don't you think?
Yeah, like I said, she
I
does hold
wouldn't
an edge
say
over
so.
Kassadin, so you don't necessarily have to pick an AD mid to counter Kassadin. If
True.
the
So
red side had bot lane and mid lane leash, so they have both fallen behind in experience, with Kassadin hitting level 2 first and blue side bot lane hitting level 2 first as well.
indeed, and you can really
That
see
was
just
a
how
misplay
Yeah, you
on
can
their
just-
side.
yeah, over in bot lane, you can just see how Vankwish is trying to play this. They realize that if Azeroth gets a snare on them, it could end up quite badly for them. So, the snare does get put onto Sona, but she's staying so far behind. I mean, I think that was a max range snare she just did. But yeah, Caitlyn and Sona using their range to their advantage, trying to stay as back as possible. So even if Morgana does land one of her snares onto Sona or Caitlyn, they're really into their tower range. So it's gonna be hard for blue team to follow up.
Every lane is kind of going even at this point. Top lane, you could see the sustain kicking in for Maokai, and Gangplank is already at half HP thanks to the raid they had, but Maokai is back to full HP because of his passive and a few pots, I suppose.
Although the blue side is harassing better, they do have a CS
Oh,
lead
and
on
over in
them.
the Baron pit, we do have the two junglers meeting each other. Pantheon going for the early stun. Lee Sin also, but Lee Sin's forced to save
Nice
out.
one,
Will
huh?
Pantheon flash for it? But no, he doesn't. Instead, he's just gonna chase and see how much yardage he can gain. He is very deep inside the enemy's jungle. Lee Sin missing the sonic
Lissandra
wave there.
has not been following up though, so I think he should be fine, Pantheon.
Indeed, so one of those
I
problems.
think he was saving his flash until his stun came back up, but I think that was a bit too late.
But now
Pantheon
Lissandra
with his
heading her way
passive,
over.
it is-
Pantheon heading her way over mid laner. The Q does connect. He will be ignited, and Kassadin taking down first blood. Beautiful gank by Pantheon.
That's poor awareness
That
from
stun couldn't
Lissandra.
have been more well-timed.
She did know that Pantheon was around in their red side jungle, so she shouldn't have overstepped that far ahead.
Oh, but over in the top lane, Lee Sin connecting his sonic wave. Beautiful flash by Maokai, but now Gangplank and Lee Sin trying
Oh
to dive.
my God.
Lee Sin playing too
Oh
aggressive.
my
He
God,
will
the
go down to the
execute.
tower. Wow, what happened there, man? What happened
More
there?
than Maokai's flash being great, it was a misplay on Lee Sin's part. He could have actually waited out the flash before going in my opinion.
Indeed, Maokai also didn't have any mana, so he couldn't really get a snare onto anyone. I mean, he could have played that one better, but then, Lee Sin and Gangplank just overcommitted to that kill. They saw a very, very low Maokai, but they forgot that Maokai is Maokai, and Lee Sin ends up losing his red buff for it.
The main reason they didn't get the kill was because Gangplank was out of mana for Q. The last Q of his could have actually secured the kill when they towered over, but he was just shy of a Q, just shy of mana for Q.
So a lot of miscalculations happening in the top lane, but not to worry. I mean, even though Lee Sin did lose red buff, he didn't die or give any advantage to Maokai in the top lane. Instead, he just got executed from the tower.
But
so-
Maokai is overstaying, and although there are back pings, he's not responding in time. He's walking towards the brush actually, and he
Oh,
should
here
be
comes
going
And he
Lissandra,
does
down.
not
the
have flash
Ignite,
and
he
the
comes
Thunder
up, the
has
clock
release.
comes up too, and the Ignite will be ticking. Second blood, I guess, goes to Lissandra.
It again, I think he did get pings from his mid laner asking him to back, and he instead chose to walk into it for some reason without
Over
flash
in
up.
bot lane, we do have a gank. We also have a counter gank coming. Sonic Wave connects to Synchro. Beautiful
and
snare
Sona.
being by Sona. Sona forcing the flash. Here comes the Gangplank ulti. It doesn't do much, but Kassadin also walking over to the bot lane. Synchro being very low, getting hit by that last Q.
I don't think they know Kassadin is here because they have absolutely no vision on River unless Lissandra. Okay, they do know now. Oh, and
Oh, the
Oh,
flash
now
by
we
Lee
have the
Sin,
Pantheon
jungle
he doesn't
leading
have
again.
flash.
Oblivious to his
On the
movement.
Pantheon.
There,
Third
Pantheon
blood
secures the
goes
kill.
down to Pantheon. Beautiful play by Panth. Just such a nice aggressive play. He knows that he can 1v1 the Lee Sin. He waits
the-
at the Pride Rush, and yeah, that was just beautifully played out perfectly.
Lack of wards is hurting the red side.
And this
I
is
don't
the
think
second
it's lack
time
of
Lee Sin is
words
not
because-
looking at his screen, and he notices it too late in my opinion. That's what's happening there. Even near Dragon Pit, I don't think he was looking at his screen and just walked past Pantheon for a while there before realizing that he was taking damage. I think that was the case here as well.
I don't think it was lack of words, like you said earlier, because it's 7 minutes into the game. We can't really expect people to have like a lot of. We can only expect people to have like words.
No,
at
but you
least in
can see the
river
blue
about-
side having two aggressive pink wards on the river and having warded the red side's
jungle.
blue as well. So you don't need wards, especially now that Kassadin is level 6 and
Pantheon also reaching his level 6 pretty soon.
Lissandra is level 6. So I
Pantheon's
think you
level
do
4
need wards.
currently, and he's going to steal the blue buff. And there
Oh
it goes.
wow!
This might steal.
Beautiful.
Though Pantheon was spotted by the ward, I don't think they were kind of.
Kind of aware that the fact that Pantheon was there.
I don't think they realized it. I don't think they. Though the ward spotted him, they weren't.
No, they
notifying
probably
him of
thought
his
they'll
issue.
burst it down quick enough. Which was
Indeed,
definitely
but
not
you know,
the case.
just again, sloppy play coming from Vankwish. I mean, they did see the Pantheon come in. I have no idea what they were thinking, but just a very sloppy play. I mean, once you see a Pantheon coming in, you need to react to it, especially when you have your mid laner there. And while Kassadin this early into the game being quite weak, I mean, they should have reacted to that. Unfortunately, they didn't. So. Bad play. Again, we do see near Lee Sin's blue buff that he gets spotted out by 2 members. He won't be getting away from this. Kassadin picking up a second kill of the game. What is happening here?
The red team aren't actually following up on missing calls, I suppose, or rather not realizing that their lane opponents are missing half the time. So
And Lee Sin
think it's
is
good
kind
roaming
of
on the
face
part of blue
tricking
team.
brushes at random, and he's not even trying to queue in first hand to check if someone's already
Yeah,
there in the
he
brush.
has fallen very behind now to have an impact.
Yeah, I know he got quadra buffed basically.
Oh, and an ultimate coming in from Pantheon at mid lane.
And Lissandra kind of walks back
Oh.
into it. I don't know what her thought process was there, but she just walks back into his range.
Hammond with the flash picking up the kill. We do have the ulti coming in by Gangplank, and he will pick up the kill onto Kassadin. Nice ulti by Gangplank, I'd say.
The kill was
He
actually
could have ulted
secured.
a bit earlier, I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't have it up.
Over in the top lane, we do have Gangplank playing aggressive. Gleason comes up big. The Sonic
And
Flame
Malphite
does
throws
hit
his ultimate,
Gangplank
trying to
going for a
burst down
snare back
Gangplank.
onto Moro Knight. Moro Knight flashing away to safety. He might just give this kill on to Lee Sin.
But
Maokai
Maokai
doing
still
what he
does
can to
have
go
his flash.
away. Sonic
And
Wave connects again, and he will go down.
So that makes Lee Sin worth some gold now for the blue team to kill again.
Dude,
I guess
that's
that
just
was the
being
plan
mean
all
over there,
along.
come on. But yeah, anyways, like you said, Lee Sin losing both of his buffs to the Pantheon. Pantheon just getting that extra red buff, and I guess he's been playing very aggressive in this jungle. Just very aggressive, not allowing Lee Sin to get any of his buffs. And also Lissandra, a
And
lot of
Kassadin
mistakes
has
being
his
made.
Rod of the Ages completed already in 10 minutes, so I think now he's going to be a menace for the red team. He already has been with 3 kills for blue team.
Just looking very strong, like this early into the game. 11-minute Kassadin with already a Rod of Ages complete. 3 and 1 with
Lissandra kind of
56
has
farms.
half of a Rod of Ages and half of a Marilla Nomicon already. I don't know what she's thinking. Completing, if you're gonna build a Rod of Ages, it's better to rush it down fast enough. But building a half of a Marilla Nomicon isn't the best idea, I'd say.
And the red team has failed to spot 2 pink wards on the one on the river and one in their own jungle, and Lee Sin almost getting caught again. Oh, and Kassadin almost bursts him down. That was a needless flash, maybe. He's standing on top of a pink ward now.
Okay, they finally
He spots
spotted
it this time.
And
Oh,
he
it's
secures the kill.
Synchro coming out big with the
I think they should be doing dragon now.
collateral damage onto Lee Sin, taking him out. Unfortunately, I don't think is Dragon there or not?
His dragon is up, but okay, they are actually setting him a
meanwhile, over
gank at bot.
lane, Morgana going very aggressive. Here comes the Pantheon, all Synchro will be getting his double kill, and now there's a small Sona to save down. Crescendo only locks down one person, and Froggy Baba Maokai taking up the kill onto Sona. Now they're gonna dragon.
Yet again, they have absolutely no vision on river other than the Scuttle Crab which Lee Sin took a while ago, and they were still stepping up so far ahead despite knowing that 3 members of the blue team are missing. So they did see Lee Sin just die, and they still chose to overextend. That was a good teleport from Maokai as well, although it might not have been needed.
I don't realize what
Cass-
Lee Sin's trying to accomplish here.
I think he doesn't realize that Kassadin can burst him down quickly.
Meanwhile, over in the Dragon Pit area, Lissandra going very aggressive. Tamid using his Rift Walk to secure the kill, but here comes Gangplank. He will go down. It's unlikely he's going to escape, and he does go down to the Gangplank. 2-0 Gangplank, but here comes the very
When the
challenging
chain CC.
Morgana. Chain CC'd with the Morgana stun, and the damage from Pantheon takes down Lissandra. A lot of mistakes being made, one after the other.
It's all been about the red team getting caught left, right, and center, and it's not been good news for them so far. When you have mobile champions like Kassadin on the opposite team and Pantheon, you really need to ward up more, and they have so much cash
now
potential
Morgana
as well
getting
with
a little bit
Morgana
caught
snare.
out on the enemy blue buff side. Scarlock without any flash. Synchro using his Ghost Blade, and he will take down one more auto attack left. Heal being used, and he will take out Morgana with the collateral damage, doing work here for Synchro. I think it's almost 3 kills he got just with the collateral damage alone. I'm not sure.
I guess Disarray started fighting Morgana, the assumption that she coming out of their jungle would make her safe, but Pantheon showing up kind of screwed that out.
Asenoth taking the ace of the hole by Disarray. Maokai getting a double kill over there. Now Disarray trying to chase down this Pantheon. You have the gank teleport coming out here, but that doesn't really do much. Now Tamid and his team focus on the Caitlyn. He will go down. Pantheon lives, but now Poro King is the new target. He got snared by Maokai, and he's gonna go down. Most unlikely that he's gonna live, and he does go down. Team Wayne just looking very controlled in this game.
This is quickly snowballing out of Vanquish's control.
Yeah, I
Team
know
Wayne have established total control over the blue side jungle of Vanquish. So from the start of the game,
not even the blue side alone, just even on the or even on the red side. Like even though they don't have much wards on that side,
not much action has been going on.
They've been making a lot of
there,
aggressive plays ever since the early stages of this game over on the blue side, and Pantheon just really controlling, really understanding Lee Sin, understanding what he can do, and just controlling Lee Sin completely in this jungle. Again, he's gonna try and go for a red buff invade, but Lee Sin slithering out with just the slime of second, and here comes Cassidy trying to come up, do something, but happens. Asenoth making a good roam down in the mid lane. Snare does get locked down. Lee Sin comes with the disengage, gets the sonic wave out, but here comes Pantheon, Qs and stuns onto Morgana, does take a little bit of tower damage. Tamid takes the kill, and here comes Gangplank. Yeah, one thing I'd like to point out is that Spar, you were talking about the different type of builds we saw with over in the bot lane you have engaged. Asenoth landing the stun onto Sona. Synchro getting spell shielded, which does remind him of the crescendo. He is going very aggressive onto Scarlock. Collateral damage used. Disarray in the meanwhile sniping down Asenoth, and now it's
this should be kind of an easy
Here comes the Gangplank ulti. Who will win this? Disarray missing the Q, but he will get this with help of his passes. Here comes Cassidy. This may be a double kill. No, he doesn't have his Ripwalk available. He ain't going. Here comes Poro Knight. Will he take down Cassidy? No, he's just gonna Riftwalk away. Poro Knight chasing. Does use Z. Gets caught by the Caitlyn, but will Riftwalk away for the second time. And wow, just a lot of roaming coming out, don't you think?
The red side is kind of trying to mimic the roams of the blue side, because the blue team has been just roaming right, left and center, with the Morgana showing up at mid lane multiple times, with the Maokai teleports as well. I don't think Gangplank has used his teleport properly to counteract the teleport of the Maokai, which has kind of got them off guard, and the
I don't think he
for
could
the
have done much really.
number disadvantage. You saw like about 2 Maokai teleports, and it wasn't even countered by one of who was it again? Gangplanks. He
now we've got Lee Sin, very low HP. Versatile also very early HP. Good kick by Lee Sin and Pantheon.
And again the blue side with their strategy to give Lee Sin a kill to make him worth gold again. After every 3 kills, after every 3 deaths.
Zabardast over here being a very mean person today.
Yeah,
the red team need to, they need to play safe early on with all the catch potential and roam potential the blue side have, but they were overextending way too much and they have paid the price. They have a fed Cassidy on blue side. You have 3 kills on the ADC, Graves, and a very tanky Maokai top lane, so it's going to be an uphill task from here for them. The next dragon is coming up in 10 seconds, although Pantheon is all the way at blue buff. Should be very difficult for red side to contest this though.
Indeed it will. One thing I'd like to point out before a fight starts happening, Spar XX, you have mentioned that there are 3 types of Gangplank builds. What do you think Gangplank is building now?
I have no clue. He's going for a
24.
Triforce
That's
after
because
the...
yeah, he's probably building Phage now, so with Ruby Crystal for it. So the Triforce static shift Gangplank.
And the crit plank we're talking about earlier.
I don't think this is gonna be a crit flank because you need an infinity edge for a crit flank, and him building he started building a Triforce a while back, and I don't think he completed for say at least about 6 more minutes maybe. That would take him up to the 25-minute point by the time the game might be over potentially. Let's see how it goes. And I wouldn't say he was doing too bad.
Lee Sin
at
has
top lane,
finally
it's just-
spotted the pink ward, and he's cleared it. Although the one behind their blue is still standing.
Now Lee Sin doing his at the moment. Here comes the Pantheon ulting right into 2 people. Takes
Oh my
a lot
God.
of damage. Lee Sin taking a lot of damage. He will take the blue buff. Disarray ulties onto the Gangplank. He will get stunned. The snare come in. A lot of burst being come in. Crescendo catches 4 people, but there is no follow-up. Meanwhile, Tamid takes the kill on the Gangplank, and he will now try and chase down this Lissandra. He does get a small amount of damage on. Will he go for the kill? I don't think he will. No, he actually plans on going, and Ignite does pop. He rift walk over, and he just walks
I think he
out
got
of turret
125 for that. I mean 152 for that. It isn't as much. Sunrise 1-7, so that's complete dominance at mid lane.
So do you think they should employ the same strategy they're using for Lee Sin and Lissandra as well?
We'll know soon. They probably didn't realize it yet.
And as for the
Indeed,
second
so-
dragon, it's up, and it's not as
It's been-
important
it's been
to the
up
blue
for
team as
a
it's
while now.
important to the red one.
Yeah, I think now Team Wayne from are just really not playing the objective game anymore, except towers. I think they're mostly playing the kill-based game.
They're trying to
Pantheon just
catch
playing-
them off because they realize that the red team aren't trying to play safe enough. So they want to capitalize on it.
Now Pantheon just having the timers on the Lee Sin's buff. I mean, he knows when Lee Sin's gonna be doing his buff, and he smites it again.
Oh my God.
Snare coming in from Azeroth, and Lee Sin
Chooses not to
just
follow up.
feeling helpless in this game.
Pantheon chooses not to follow up on the snare for some reason.
I think he felt bad for the Lee Sin. He's like, oh, I'll take your buff, but I'll let you live. How about that?
We are seeing a lot of wards from the red side being put out, but I thought I'd see a lot more sweepers on their team. We are seeing only 2 sweepers.
Oro
With
Knight
one
in a
being-
very bad position
and
here.
Synchro
Gambit
is-
could capitalize, but he doesn't. Meanwhile, over in the bot lane, you have a lot of engages going on. Versatile gets locked up. Synchro very low, and a double
Oh, that
kill
was
goes to
beautiful
him,
play
picking up.
from Synchro and Pantheon.
Indeed, very good synergy between those two. Over in top lane, we do have 3 members, while Versatile and Synchro get kills in bot lane. Over in top lane, we do have Tamid, Azeroth, and Froggy Baba taking down the top inner turret. Just objective after objective. They are playing this game tremendously as a team.
And once Caston completes his Archangel stuff and Sock Boots, he is going to be huge. He can probably take a couple of people on his own. He already can. He's 10, 2, and 3. 4k gold ahead of Lissandra, so
Okay,
that's
so, Zabardust, one thing I'd like to ask you. Saw the main reason why this team this game kind of just went out of control during the 10 to 15 minute mark, because we saw Pantheon playing very aggressive in the jungle of Lee Sin. So when somebody does that to you, what's your best counter to it?
you cannot do much as a jungler on your own. You need help from your entire team. And although Lee Sin hasn't helped his case by getting caught himself on various occasions, I think you need to capitalize on it with on the enemy team trying to be aggressive, put defensive wards so that when they get cocky, you can take the help of your team and kill the enemy jungler and then slowly get back in. But it's been the opposite case here with Lee Sin still trying to be playing as though he's not so far behind, and he's paid the price.
Indeed, he has a 2-6-1 Lee Sin, still up on going for those mobility, although it hasn't really done him much. Except
It's
probably.
it's also
Kemp
because
just
all of his
further out.
lanes are losing, so he can't really.
Meanwhile, over in the mid lane, Maokai doing a very dangerous dive onto 3 members of purple team just with a support, and does pay the price for that. I mean,
At this point, I
Well,
think
at
the
least
blue
they
team
carry.
know that they can practically do whatever they want, and they are indeed very ahead. So
Well, they do have a 10k
Indeed,
goal
and
lead
meanwhile,
in
over the
24
bot
minutes,
lane,
which is kind of
the two carry
huge.
Synchro and Chapman going very aggressive onto Disarray, but nothing much happens. And in the mid lane, a lot of action happen now. Versatile getting kicked for the disengage, but here comes Synchro and Tamid again getting a kill on the Gangplank. Sona very low. Tamid will just rift walk in and take it with a Z. Now Disarray might be the new target. Will Tamid go for it or will he not?
even though you think that you can get the blue side, if they are low, they are so far ahead in levels and items. It's really hard for them to even take down low targets with the damage Cassidy and Graves have right now.
In like 24 minutes of the game, they should not be this strong. 24 minutes of the game. Graves and Cassidy should not be this strong at this current time point. And now
No.
Lee Sin finally learning his lesson, warding out his outside of his jungle while he takes his blue buff. I guess all those invades from Pantheon finally taught him a lesson to ward your buff every time you try and take it.
It all started with his jungle path really, and the purple side choosing to leash and reach lanes late. So the mid lane Castle hit level 2 first, got an advantage. Bot lane hit level 2 first, got an advantage. And Lee Sin really didn't have an impact because he chose the wrong path, starting blue buff, wolves in red. Whereas if he did want to take his both buffs immediately, he could have just taken Gromp, blue and red. And he didn't really need help from Lissandra as much. And of course, him choosing to fight Pantheon at level 3 when Pantheon has his passive, and it's really difficult to duel Pantheon even though you're a Lee Sin.
Top lane, Lee Sin gets caught out again. Good kick. Now Oro Knight trying to be some sacrificial target or something right here, but here comes the rest of the purple team. Sandra coming in with the lockup onto Versatile.
It is
they
a
could actually
2v4.
fight this when they want, but it's a 2v5. Does take the kill with a smite onto Pantheon. Froggy Baba trying to come up with a revenge kill, at least trying to make a good trade. He is tanky, taking out 4 members of the purple team, but does go down to disarray.
That was actually a 2v4 and then 2v5, so and they still took so long to kill them. That's really shows how out of control this game is.
And meanwhile, while
That's an
happening
inhibitor.
over the bot lane, Synchro and Azanoth taking out this inhibitor, and wow, inhibitor for 2 kills. What are your thoughts on that?
At this point, all they need to do is push lanes and end this game. They can choose to do that, I think. Totally worth it.
They can choose to probably 5 while their AD carry split push ends the game.
Gaston
I
and
think
Graves are
Team
so strong
Team
right
Veda
now.
will come on
We have
top.
already seen them take 2 people, 3 people, 4 people on their own, so it's going to take something to stop them.
Well, we have Froggy Baba coming alive and just going very aggressive onto Syndra. He doesn't need to. A beautiful snare by Azanoth does catch Sona, and Sona, being the quick target she is, just gets melted by these 2 carries. I mean, Synchro and Tanit just doing a lot. Now we have Tanit going recklessly aggressive, does put some good damage down, but just gets started with the Sonic Wave and a lot of trading. Purple team is trying to trade equally to blue team, but that's just not happening. Again, a snare.
have the Morgana
Synchro
snares,
will take him down with the collateral damage. Here comes Tamid. A good kick by Lee Sin will prove the dissing. Here comes Lissandra. Will she choose clawback? No, she doesn't. And Versatile trying to do as much damage as he can as a melee champion on the side and the walls of the base red teams.
At this point, the red team is not safe under their inhibitor turret itself. When you have the Morgana snares, and anyone who's caught can just get instantly burst down by the blue team, so they are backing off now because they are low and they don't have Maokai, so
Now Synchro
choosing to stay.
Of They stay and fight this. He has a Lissandra. He does respect the Lissandra's
He does have
CC. He has
ultimate,
Lissandra
though, and I
coming in.
think he
Good
should be.
stun by Versatile. He
Oh
will
my
just get
God.
melted. Here comes the Gangplank ulti. Disarray trying to do as much as he can. They could probably fight this 2v3. They plan on doing it. Versatile popping out his Ghost Blade, but no, he won't do anything. They're just gonna go for a all. Too much action for one day, don't you think?
Have 37 kills already in this game. There is fights everywhere. Every minute you have a fight and red team members getting caught and dying.
Indeed, now we have Lee Sin kind of getting caught out again. No, he will safeguard out. And an uncontested dragon goes for blue team. I do believe that good reward for the amount of
Another problem is that
stopping.
the blue team has champions who scale really well with Maokai and Cassidy. Yes, they have Pantheon, but he is fed as well, and you have Graves fed. So they can't really hope for things to get better if they stall it out, because you have a Lee Sin on your team and they have Cassidy, Maokai, very strong late game champions. So it seems to be difficult for them to get back into this.
Indeed it does, so as you said, there's no point of even defending an inhibitor turrets. Maybe you can probably get, maybe if they extend this long enough to about like 15 minutes where the purple team at least has some items they can deal damage with, and if there's probably like a very reckless play on the blue team's half, they could win this, but Tamid just
The
I
blue
guess
team has
AFKing
just
in
been
that
looking
push.
to catch people off all the time. They haven't been pushing for objectives
Again,
as
a good
much.
snare being drawn, and just one cast and Q
Oh my
puts
God,
Lee Sin
that
at below
damage.
half HP. And here comes the tank Maokai, doesn't do anything, just snares onto Lee Sin. Lee Sin will go down, another good snare being hit by Azanoth, and a good 5-man Azanoth. Oh, very good ulti coming out. Here comes the snare by Maokai. Good Nonyas by Tampid, and Mortal King Knight will go down. Here comes Synchro, doesn't care, going full aggro onto Caitlyn, and does
That's
take
an
a
ace.
double kill. That's an ace. One thing I'd like
And
to
that-
mention
is
is
that
that
the end? I'm not
Zona's
sure.
crescendos are excellent.
That's because the blue team don't need to bother about it, so they're all grouped up trying to. It's more of defensive crescendos all the time.
Yeah, but there we have it. That is most like the game.
Yeah, they were just
Lee Sin
trying
and
to catch the red team off, and the red team kept walking in all the time, choosing to face check.
Zona goes down again, just playing a bit too aggressive. Lee Sin on the side trying to do something, and 31 minutes 30 seconds. That's the game. Team Wayne versus Vanquish. Team taking the lead by victory, and that's game 3, guys. Stay tuned for game 4.